Your best investment opportunity is the yardstick against which you measure everything else. You'd better burn that into your brain. This isn't some high-level financial theory. This is pure, old-fashioned common sense. There's a term in economics called opportunity cost. It sounds intimidating, but it's a ridiculously simple idea. It just means that the true cost of doing anything isn't the money you spend. It's the next best alternative you gave up to do it. When you choose A, you automatically give up on B, C, and D. And that B might just be the gold nugget you should have been holding onto with both hands. Now, how do most people make decisions? They see an opportunity, a business that looks pretty good, a stock that seems like it will go up. They look at it in isolation and think, I can make money on this. So they throw their money in. End of story. It's so foolish, it's heartbreaking. They never ask the critical question, compared to all times, the other things I could be doing, is this the absolute best? At Berkshire, we do the exact opposite. We always have a yardstick in our minds. What is this yardstick? Sometimes it's just cash. Yes, you heard me right. That pile of lazy cash that's doing nothing. More often, it's the business in our portfolio that we know best, that we love the most, and that we could add to at any moment. You know, buying a little more See's candies or a little more Coca-Cola. This yardstick is our default option, our next best choice. A new proposal that comes to me asking for a single penny from my pocket must first answer one question. Are you better than me just putting this money back into the best business we already own? Can you beat my most confident bet? No one. 99% of the proposals can't even get past that first hurdle. The moment you measure them with this simple yardstick, they're exposed for what they are: mediocre, uncertain, or a complete waste of time. This mental habit acts like a powerful filter, blocking out most of the world's noise and temptations. It dramatically raises the bar for our decisions. It forces us to compare, to think, instead of just nodding excitedly at every shiny object that comes our way, like a brainless fly. It forces you, before you act, to ask yourself, do I really, truly times have to do this? This will naturally make you more patient. You know deep down that you aren't short of opportunities. You're already holding a fantastic one, which might be to do nothing, or to just do more of what you do best. When you have this mindset, the chaos of the outside world loses its power over you. The market goes up and others get greedy. You don't feel anxious because you know their standards are too low. The market goes down and others are fearful. You don't panic because your yardstick tells you that better prices have just shown up and it's time to go measure some of those discounted goodies. People think we have some secret formula at Berkshire. Our secret is that we're very good at times not doing things asterisk. Most of our time saying no to the hundreds of ideas that come across our desks. It's not because we're arrogant. It's because we're disciplined. And that discipline comes from our internal yardstick. Take this way of thinking and apply it to every corner of your life. Its power will astound you. Take your career, for instance. You have a decent job, But another company wants to lure you away with a 20% raise. What do most people think? No, 20% more. Great. And they jump ship immediately. They only see the immediate gain and miss the hidden cost. How does a truly smart person think? They pull out their yardstick. Their yardstick might be, in my current job, the salary isn't the highest, but I'm learning at an incredible rate. I'm surrounded by people who make me better, and I'm close to the center of power. This is their next best alternative, the optimal ground they already hold. Now, that new job, with its extra 20% salary, doesn't just have to beat the current salary. It has to beat the speed of learning, plus great colleagues, plus a core position. When you frame it that way, you might find that 20% raise is laughably small. You're dropping a watermelon to pick up a sesame seed. You're making a terrible trade with your life's most precious assets, your time and your potential. It's the same with time management. Why are so many people busy all day but achieve nothing? Because they have no yardstick. They say yes to every request, attend every meeting, and reply to every email. They feel productive. But in reality, they're just using their finite lives to deal with a random pile of worthless trivialities. If you have a yardstick in your mind, and that yardstick is spending time with my children or reading a book that will change my thinking, then when a friend calls to invite you to a pointless dinner, party, a scale immediately tips in your mind. You will ask, is this party more valuable than reading a story to my kids for an hour or finishing Charlie Darwin's book? The answer is usually no. And so, you learn to decline. Not rejecting your friend. You're rejecting a worse option to protect your best one. This is the source of power. True freedom isn't the ability to do anything. It's the ability to say no to almost everything. You can calmly and firmly say no to the unimportant, the secondary, the things that distract you. And the confidence to say no comes from that crystal clear yardstick in your mind. You know what matters most to you. You know where your castle is. Any temptation trying to lure you out of that castle has to be damn convincing. The world, especially the modern business world, is plagued by an action bias. People feel they have to be constantly doing something to prove their worth. The fund manager who doesn't make a trade all year, his clients think he's lazy. A CEO who doesn't make an acquisition for a few years. The shareholders think he lacks vision. It's insane. They equate activity with progress. And that's a colossal error. Much of the time, the best action is to do nothing. When you already own a piece of the world's best business, what else do you need to do? You need to control your itchy fingers. Go into the backyard and read a book and watch it grow. But very few people have this composure because they don't have a yardstick. Their minds are restless and empty, so they need constant, meaningless action to fill the void. I knew a very rich man who started with one simple business. It was a wonderful business, stable cash flow, almost no competition. But eventually, he decided he needed to diversify, to put his eggs in different baskets. That's the kind of nonsense they teach in business school. So he started investing in fields he knew nothing about: restaurants, tech companies, and real estate. He took the money he earned from his perfect business and threw it by the handful into areas where he was a complete amateur. The result? A total disaster. Each of those new investments was like a vampire, constantly sucking away his cash and energy. In the end, he nearly dragged his original, wonderful business down with him. What was his mistake? He forgot that his best investment opportunity was the successful business he already owned and understood inside and out. Any new investment should have been compared to that perfect business. If a new opportunity's return and certainty were far lower than simply reinvesting in the company, why on earth would he do it? That is the tragedy of lacking a yardstick. You get misled by greed, by vanity, by the beautifully crafted stories from consultants in slick suits. You end up trading a genuine 10 that you already possess for a pile of junk that looks pretty, but is actually a 4 or a 5. So, how do you build your own yardstick? First, you must be brutally honest in assessing what you currently have, not what you times wish times you had, but what you truly times have. This could be a skill set, your network, a particular investment, or even just cash. You have to analyze its strengths, weaknesses, and potential with the cold, hard eye of a scientist. Second, you must have a clear understanding of your circle of competence. What do you know? And what do you not know? Warren and I have survived this long, not because we can predict everything, but for the exact opposite reason. We know what we can't predict. Classify things we don't understand, like complex technology or fickle fashion trends, into a too hard pile. Then we toss it aside and never look back. Your circle of competence is your home turf. On your home turf, the option you have the most confidence in, the one you're most sure about, that's the starting point for your yardstick. If you're an excellent plumber, your best investment is probably not buying Bitcoin. It's buying a better set of tools or investing in your own brand so you can get more and better jobs. It doesn't sound sexy or exciting, but it works. Once you've found this yardstick, your life becomes incredibly simple and clear. You'll stop envying others. When you see your neighbor make a quick buck on some hot stock, you won't feel a pang of jealousy. You'll pull out your yardstick and see that the stock's risk and uncertainty are far greater than your own best option. You'll be happy for him, but you won't copy him. You know that's his game, not yours. You have to play by your own rules. You'll become extremely picky, like a curator who only collects museum-quality masterpieces. You will only be interested in the very few opportunities that can easily blow your current yardstick out of the water. You're not looking for good opportunities, or even very good ones. You're looking for the great times ones. The great opportunities may only come along a few times in your life. They do, because you've spent your time accumulating ammunition, cash, and attention. You can swing for the fences with absolute conviction. This is what we do at Berkshire. We're like a baseball player, but in a game with no called strikes. We can stand at the plate and watch thousands of pitches fly by. Bad pitches, mediocre pitches, even pretty good-looking pitches. We let them all go. We just wait quietly for that perfect, sweet, right down the middle, fat pitch. Only when that one opportunity comes along, the one we completely understand and can hardly miss, do we swing with everything we've got. The reason we have that patience and discipline is our mental yardstick. We know that by passing on those mediocre pitches, we lose nothing. Because our default option, holding cash or adding to our existing great companies, is already a very good outcome. So, forget the complex financial models. Forget the market forecasts that change every day. You only need to do one thing: find your yardstick. It could be the company you understand best, the skill that has the most potential, or the relationship you want to invest your time in. Then use that yardstick to measure every choice you face. Is this new job offer really more valuable than what I'm learning right now? Is this new stock really going to let me sleep better at night than the blue chip I already own, which has weathered several bull and bear markets? Is this social event truly more nourishing for my soul than an afternoon in the park with my kids? To start to see the world through this big picture lens, you'll find that the vast majority of your worries and bad decisions stem from forgetting to compare, from forgetting the treasure you already hold. The people are like thirsty travelers in a desert, chasing a mirage, all the while forgetting that their own canteen is filled with fresh, clear water. Don't be that fool. Build your yardstick and then guard your castle like a king. Allow things that are truly worthy of your time, money, and energy to enter. It sounds harsh, but it's the only path to wealth and wisdom. This path is bound to be a lonely one. You'll see people all around you, constantly busy, trading, chasing, and you, most of the time, might just be sitting quietly, reading and waiting. They'll think you're strange, lazy, that you're missing out on everything. Let them talk. All you need to do is smile once in a while and continue to sharpen that internal yardstick. Because you know they're using a pathetically short ruler to measure a vast world, and you're holding the gold standard of value. In the end, time will prove everything. Time is the friend of a wonderful business and the enemy of a mediocre one. It is also the friend of the rational and the enemy of the fool. Find your yardstick, trust it, and then, with discipline, use it to live your life. That's the best advice I can give you.